Now serving your entree of sports and entertainment, the triple shot of Marcus returns. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fish and Grits for the Culture. April 4th, 2018. How's it going for you fellas?
Oh, I'm sleepy, like we had just talked about.
My
I'm
man,
on my nap almost carried over and I didn't make it.
my man sound like he just got up. Just got
Man, it's just like, back in the day when you was in college, you can take like an hour 30 nap and you pop up with energy. I take an hour nap and I'm just like, Jesus, I can't even get out the bed.
Man, I feel you. And today we are joined by who I call the voice of the people, the greatest Jordan since Michael, the culture's president. What's going down, Miss Jordan Franklin?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Y'all know how that girl hate me.
Dang, did you just disrespect Michael B. Jordan? Did you forget about him?
man,
Killmonger himself?
it's the greatest Jordan since Michael, the original.
Oh, okay. We'll give it to him.
Sorry, Michael B. Jordan. He can be one B. That's fine. He can be one B.
What happened was he took the example that Jordan was setting, and that's why he came up with that Killmonger character.
No,
I'm
Jordan,
so
this,
mad.
this not about getting nobody to hate you or anything like that.
I think she already does. That's
I mean,
the thing.
it is what it is at this point. It's over with. We still going to prospect. So hey, that's
Hashtag.
official. That's official. That's official right there. But it was just a good thing just to see somebody like reach out. You really done your business on top of it. So it ain't like you was just out there talking. You went out there, you said what needed to be said, and you going through with your plans. And go ahead and tell the people what you got everything coming up for us.
So, for my Westfield class of 2008 alumni, I know y'all tune in. We got some things planned for y'all. $500 for a reunion at District 1960 was just not what was happening. Even $50 for no alcohol, like that's just a little bit excessive. You know what I mean? So, a couple of us kind of got together. Jamel and Tori, I'm sure everybody knows DJ Auditory. They kind of pushed the hashtag we still going to Prospect. Tori DJs at Prospect a lot, both the one on the north side and the one by the Galleria. So he has all the connects. He hit up the owner, boom, boom, boom. 30 minutes later, we get Prospect. So it was literally that simple. Our biggest thing was how can we keep this cost efficient, because ain't nobody trying to spend $500 for one night. You know what I'm saying? Like that's money out of kids'
Nah, we with you. Yeah.
mouths and, bills and, we got responsibilities. Like we're
Look,
adults.
I just had to buy my girl Beyonce ticket, so I'm with you. I ain't have
What? I know you broke, son.
I ain't have
My pocket's hurting for you, and I ain't even buy no Beyonce tickets.
I'm
man.
trying to convince my boyfriend it ain't too late.
It ain't never too late for buying no Beyonce
Hey,
tickets.
shoot your shot, Jordan. Shoot your shot. Get those tickets.
Man, I'm trying, but he's just kind of like, I'll buy you a flight for a trip.
Hey, man, I'll settle for a trip too. A trip to see Beyonce.
Yeah, I went to the first On the Run, so it was really, really good for those.
Oh, well, he probably said you don't need to make it on the run again.
Yeah,
You ran enough.
He does. I feel like that is what he's saying. But yeah, so kind of back to the reunion real quick. So we got Prospect on Saturday night. It's free. The only cost is going to be whatever you decide to drink or eat while we're there. It's going to be a good time. DJ Auditory is going to be on the ones and twos, and then Sunday, the following day, we're going to rent out Meyer Park, since that's close to where we all kind of spent a good part of our youth. We're going to do a lot of stuff for families. We have kind of ticket packages for people's families and the kids, and it literally is just going to be for food. So I know DeMarcus said he was willing to, help barbecue and help out with that. So,
Oh, it's gonna be lit.
yeah.
Man, he always looking to cook.
Yeah. So, we're going to have DeMarcus. We're going to have Charles and Angelica, I feel like if we're going to like help out our people and our businesses, I'd rather put money in their pockets. That's just kind of how I am. Like, why try to go out and find caterers when we got people in our class that's trying to do the same thing? So that was kind of a big thing for us too, allowing some of our classmates to have the opportunity to kind of display their skills and kind of, get their business up and going. Because y'all know we had God knows how many people graduate from our class. If nothing else, like that's some money in their pockets. So
Exactly.
yeah, man. So that's what we're doing. Bring the family out, bring the significant others out, just come have a good time for the next couple of days, and we're gonna kick it.
If y'all want a mean peanut butter jelly sandwich, I got y'all. I got y'all. I just learned to start toasting my bread with it. Woo, fire!
Okay, girl.
You compete with compete with all y'all professional stuff.
I feel you. I feel you. And
That's a hard pass. That's a hard pass.
You passing on the peanut butter and jelly?
That is a hard pass. I'm sorry.
Man, haters is always gonna be around.
The PB&J is a classic, bro.
That's a super classic. Man, y'all remember back in I don't know if y'all ever went to EC or what is that? Detention center, whatever you want to call it.
Nah,
you remember they used to give you the. Y'all didn't make it there?
Nah, bro.
Okay, well I was there. I was there, and they had the little frozen peanut butter jellies. The worst. The fucking worst. I don't know why they give that.
What are they called? The snackables or whatever.
No, I don't need that.
Yeah, Uncrustables. That's what it is.
If that was a precursor for jail, man, I got on the right track. I said, "No, I can't do this. I can't do this."
Man, speaking of jail, my man Fab.
Oh.
One count of third-degree aggravated assault.
Yeah.
One count of making terroristic threats in the third degree.
Yeah.
Got a video of him charging up Emily B and her pops. Punched her 7 times. Two front teeth gone, broken. Then he texts that he's gonna hit her with a baseball bat.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my man could be facing 3 to 5. What's going on?
I heard he can be facing 10.
Did y'all see the video? He had a knife in his hand.
Oh, I don't know what's going on, man. Fab tripping, man.
Yeah, the TMZ video. He had a knife in his hand. He told her, "Daddy, I got a bullet for you. I got a bullet with your name on it."
Man, that's some savagery, man. What did she do? Well, it don't really matter what she did because nobody deserves to get a 7-piece at all.
Not to the face, bro. With the
come on, Fab. You know how hard it was to have a chipped tooth, dog. You don't need to be out here trying to recreate that, dog. He had a line for that.
20 years to get that tooth fixed.
Exactly, man. He gotta come on.
Come on, man. How many more features did it take to get those teeth fixed?
Right.
Man, I don't know, man. He had to get security bag a little bit too long to get that fixed. So, man, I don't know. Honestly, I think that, especially in this climate that's going on right now with all the sexual assault allegations going on, a lot of the men, the way they starting to take their anger on women and starting to get out there and get that in their public eye. Fab, this is crazy for him to do this. And first of all, I have to say that Fab is one of the top New York artists that I don't think get enough attention when it comes to lyricism and the way that he stay relevant in the game. And this is really going to take a major hit to his career because not everybody. Some people can some people can. I want to say get away from that negative spotlight, but in this case, I don't think he's escaping, and I think, man, his career might be over. And it's sad to say because Fab never got the recognition, and now he really not about to get no recognition.
How you feel about it, Will?
First and foremost, I mean, unless your life depends on it and it's self-defense, I have never been, nor will I ever be, an advocate of any man putting their hands on a woman, let alone to such extreme lengths and measures. It's one of those situations where while it kind of jumps out at you and it's like, wow, fabulous of all people, this, that, and the other. But, once you go through and you look at the footage and you see to the lengths that it went and stuff like that, I find it hard to believe that would be an isolated incident where something like that's only happened once. That behavior suggests a pattern to me and suggests something that's, occurred more than once. If you feel that comfortable, if you feel that rah-rah to be able to go through and not only put your hands on a female to that extent, but then to talk to a pops like that, I'm sorry, it's not the first time that's happened. And that's disturbing. It's disturbing. It's disappointing. As a kid that grew up in New York City and I love my East Coast hip hop, Fabulous is one of my favorite East Coast artists. But it's disappointing. I lost a lot of respect for him in that regards. I mean, it's just one of those situations that, for my money, I mean, if you're going to go through all them links and you're going to put out all them kind of threats and stuff like that, 3 to 5 ain't enough.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the New York district attorney and prosecutors and stuff like that are going to make sure that it's interpreted that way, and they're not going to settle for just 3 to 5. It'll be interesting to see if they're willing to wheel and deal with his lawyers at all and even offer him any kind of deal, or if they're just going to go for the straight example to be set. Because in this Me Too society that we live in right now and stuff like that, there is no pity, there is no remorse for those that do these kinds of crimes.
That's true, man. That's true. And you know, Jordan, I mean, we've seen this throughout our time through growing up, you know, with the male artists and their emotional ways that could lead to physical abuse. But in your opinion, does this change how you view them, like for the rest of their career? Does this stick around? Like, how do you picture someone like Chris Brown at this stage?
The thing about Chris Brown, I don't know, like it's so tricky. I feel like it's twofold. I feel like one, Chris Brown keeps doing and saying things and behaving in a way to where it's just like, you know, all right, Chris being Chris, you know, he's acting out, he's doing this, he's doing that, and the third. But in that same breath, it's kind of like he made a mistake and people are still holding that over his head. He was what, 17 at the time? So it's just kind of like with Chris Brown anyway, it's just like I feel like I'm caught in the middle. Like I empathize with the fact that they won't allow him or they won't forgive him of his past mistakes. But on the other hand, he's still acting in a way that I find very inappropriate. Like especially the whole situation with Karrueche and how apparently he was abusive with her. And I mean, it's public knowledge that she got a restraining order against him. And then still had to go back, amend that restraining order with the court to extend it to her mother and her brother, because then he started making threats against them. So it's like we can only empathize with you so much if you're not willing to actually change your behavior and show that how we think you are is not exactly how you are or who you are. So I don't know, like with Chris, I'm kind of in the middle, but I agree with Will as far as the whole Fab situation. Like if you watch that video, he seemed a little too comfortable, as if this is behavior that he's exhibited before. And him and Emily been together for at least like 10, 15 years. So
and they got 2 kids.
Right. Yeah. So there's no telling, you know, now we got cell phones that record everything. There's no telling what happened prior to. But you know, it's just I'm not one to be very empathetic of men who choose to put hands on women. But I do sympathize in some situations with the fact that men are still human. And I think people forget that. But, you know, there's only so far you can push a man. It just is what it is. They are human still at the end of the day. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's such
I respect that answer.
It's such a slippery slope type argument.
I feel on the answer too, but.
No, I agree. And I'm in the legal profession. So I've seen it. Granted, I don't.
And I mean, I feel where you're coming from. My thing is, like, for me, I guess, you know, call me chauvinistic or whatever, but like, unless it's a situation where this chick is like being super duper extra, is actually like hitting you, threatening you, putting you in a situation where you feel like you might be in fear for your personal safety, like, there's no reason for a guy to be extra enough to put their hands on a woman. I just don't buy into it.
I agree.
I agree.
But I think it's not everybody.
I need to tell, you know, women, and I have a cousin who's like this. Everybody got a cousin who's like,
you already know,
handsy. When some women get too handsy, you know what I mean? Like I feel like
poking, don't do the pushing and slapping and stuff like that. Nah.
And, like I get offended with that because I'm just kind of like I consider myself a humanist. You know, I sympathize with people, male, female, regardless of your race, sexual orientation, whatever. And I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't agree with men putting their hands on women, but I don't agree with women putting their hands on men either. Like, I believe we should be able to have a civilized conversation without it resulting to becoming physical.
That's true. That's true.
Agreed. In fact, and, you know, we also had some huge news that just popped up. Chicago-born DJ Virgil Abloh. You know, he was Kanye guy. He's the first person of African descent to run the menswear line for Louis Vuitton. That's huge news. That is huge news.
What's huge is I didn't even know men had a Louis Vuitton wear. That's even huger because I didn't even know we had that type of wear. I wonder if I can fit any of their wear. They got any extra 2XLs?
I'm gonna have to surf the site, get a coupon or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, man, do y'all got this? Can I get the big size? Y'all got the big and tall?
Well, man, I know, Jordan, you told me that this is going to change the game. Is this the first one for any line, or is this just the first of many to come?
It's not the first of lines, but it's the first to come. Now, fashion law is what I do. That's my thing. And the face of fashion is changing. People, I think big brands are starting to realize how valuable the Black dollar is, which is why you're starting to see more rappers with high fashion brands almost endorsing them. All that Gucci and Versace that Migos wears, they don't buy that. They're walking advertisements for these big brands because they recognize the following that Migos has and the following that a lot of rappers have, and that they know Black folks are going to go out and imitate the things and artists that they see. So they recognize the value of the Black dollar, so they try to appeal to it. And this is big. Like, there aren't many big brands like a Louis Vuitton that is one of the most profitable fashion brands in the world to have a Black man as the face of their men's line. And Marcus, they actually didn't have a men's line prior to them hiring him to basically start it. So they're giving him,
that's live.
Yeah, they're giving him that creative freedom to start it.
Man.
And I do believe, as far as like Black men having an impression or having a face in high fashion, I can almost say, I will say that I believe that it started to become more popular when Kanye released Yeezy, because he tried to release it in more of a high fashion arena as opposed to just athletic apparel. And I think that kind of started kickstarting the door and like busting the door open for these other brands to recognize, okay, you know, there is a spot for minorities in the world of fashion, especially in the world of fashion design. So I'm excited to see like what happens.
I love it. I mean, that's cool because Macy's is getting rid of Sean John. They're getting rid of Rocawear. I'm just like, the struggle is real up in Macy's.
But as you know, like, even though they had lines, they weren't considered high fashion. They were considered urban. It wasn't really until like Kanye came out to where he started phrasing Yeezy and kind of pushing Yeezy in more of a high fashion arena as opposed to just urban wear.
Oh, I wish I can afford some of that.
I don't, because I wouldn't wear it. But
hey man, I might pull up into the reunion in some high fashion on y'all boys. Man. Y'all wouldn't even know.
Man, stunned on
Marcus came up here with a garbage bag, with some old worn out Timbs. Oh yeah,
my man's was fresh.
Yeah, bump status, son, to the new power.
We appreciate you stopping in, even if it was a short-lived segment. Man, you really gave us some knowledge on the fashion tip and just some good overall news from. We appreciate you stopping by for the culture. For real.
Thank you guys for having me.
You got to come back and visit us again.
Yeah,
I sure will. Well, y'all have.
We should have talked some Baylor talk right quick, because RG3, man,
we're not gonna do my school, man.
RG3 just got signed by the Ravens, and I know you went to Baylor, and I know he went to Baylor.
We were actually friends. We were neighbors like our last 3 years after freshman year. I've tutored him freshman year. Like, I know Griff, and I know his ex-wife, and like that whole situation. So yeah, man. Yeah,
I want to hear your take. Do you think? Okay, can I ask you a question? I just want to hear your take on it. Okay. Do you feel like it's unfair because you know RG3 is a little shaky last time we seen him with the Browns? Cap ain't got no job.
I do think that is something a little fishy is going on. To be honest, like after Robert got hurt with the Redskins, he just really hasn't been the same, and it doesn't help. Like his off the field antics have just been, you know, Cap is doing something for the people. You know what I mean? Robert out here being
for himself
and everyone. I'm not gonna say it because I don't know if y'all censor.
I'll say it for you. He was a fuck boy. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, just like that whole situation, you know, getting his now wife pregnant before he was divorced from his first wife and then engaged, you know, just like that whole, like, I feel like your off the field antics can sometimes affect the way you perform on the field. And it's just like, I felt like while he was chasing behind her, he should have been chasing behind a playbook or at somebody's training camp or something.
Man, Jordan, you're getting too real, Jordan.
Yeah, drop him.
I'm just
too real.
Back bombs on boys. They weren't even ready.
I'm just saying, I don't know. And it's just like my dad played football for Baylor back in the Gap. So when it was time for me to graduate and move out of my apartment, Robert actually happened to be moving out of his at the same time. And like I said, we were neighbors for 3 years. So my dad sat down with him and he had like a one-on-one. He was just like, you know, the biggest piece of advice, 2 big pieces of advice I can give you. 1, protect your money. And 2, protect your body, because when you get to that next level, they're not going to care about you and about you staying healthy. And then within like 2 years, you know, I don't know if I can't completely fault him for it, because I feel like the
Man, the
Redskins had
the
a
coach put
really
him out there.
yeah, the coach put him
Yeah, he
out
set
there,
him
and their
up.
O line was trash.
Trash. Trash. Alfred Morris was not getting it no more.
The
Hey
O-line
man,
was
he should have
trash.
tried it with them baseball slides. He could have slid better.
He could have, and that was another thing. So that was that whole situation. And then protect your money. Well, you didn't do that when you out here chasing behind all these women, and now you got divorce money and divorce settlements. Now you got alimony and child support on one hand. Now you marry this other chick. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you're not being smart with your money,
So
bro, especially for
he just
somebody
didn't,
not playing.
he ain't listen to Pops at all. That's pretty much what you saying.
Yeah,
Basically.
I was rooting for him because we were cool. Like I wanted to see him win.
Man.
It's just like I can't, just as a woman and how I feel about the unity of marriage, I just really can't condone the way that he went about. I don't know what their relationship was like, at home, whatever, that's their business. But I do feel like there's a way to go about things. And then you being a public figure, you really got to be cautious with how you move it. But I don't know. And I just don't like white women. That's just my thing.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, dropping bombs on here. Oh,
Not that I don't like them.
I
I have white women that are friends, but I just see historically the
And
things
she
that have
is with
happened.
some of my good friends are white women.
Yeah.
uh-oh, she hit him. She hit him with one of those. I have a bunch of black friends, by the way.
Y'all, I'm just protective of black men, and I've seen
Shout out to the bunnies.
I feel you.
the things that black men have gone through behind white women and continue to go through behind white women.
Okay.
So it's just like I'm just really like, side eye when I see them kind of like, yeah, y'all get what I'm saying.
Nah, I feel
Yeah,
you.
Jordan, me hitting them side eyes to them interracial. Girl,
I
should have got you
really
a black
do.
queen.
I really do, because y'all know we are loyal. We ain't gonna
Man.
scream,
You're
rape,
preaching to
and
the
then
choir,
all that, I'm
Oh, you
just
talking
saying.
about queen lovers over here? We
Oh, yeah.
we don't love nothing but the
It's all
queens.
queens. It's all
Listen,
queens.
Ben, I already have my queen. I've secured that bag, and I'm
Man.
happy.
Yeah,
Happy,
bag it and tag it. I
so
see you.
you already know, y'all know we will ride till the wheels fall off.
Man,
Okay.
that's it. That's it, my sister.
There is,
And
there
you
is
know,
no person, place, thing, or idea that represents with a uniqueness, a sense of power and grace and beauty, all wrapped up in the same emotion like a black woman.
Amen. That's gonna be
Man.
that's gonna be a topic for another day. So I just go on and on. But I know y'all got to get back to your podcast. Thank y'all for having me.
We appreciate it, Jay. We appreciate
we appreciate it. Stop.
He'll be back.
Oh yeah,
You'll be back.
You'll be back. You the coach's president.
Oh man,
You like Obama over here.
y'all gonna get me
It's
drunk.
T'Challa over here.
Wakanda forever. Okay.
There you go.
Forever.
Already.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
All right, take it easy, Jay.
Bye.
Man, that was great right there. That was good.
Hey, that was good content, but fuck RG3, man. The Ravens are bums for they try to save face because they knew that they needed to save face with the black population. So what do? Bring in the only bum that you can find on the street in RG3, and then you're gonna try to sell him as, oh yeah, we love the black people. Man, Ravens, get the fuck out of here.
Man, I'm with you. But from that Robert to another Robert that me and Wilson seen over the weekend, Acrimony, bro. What do you think about that movie? I thought it was a damn comedy, to be honest with you.
Damn comedy, damn.
I was laughing the whole time, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you have common sense and a brain, I mean, at the end of the day, you always have to realize, and I think that's a big issue that I have with a lot of folks when it comes to movie watching and stuff like that. At the end of the day, come on, man, they didn't market this shit as a documentary. It's a fucking movie.
Yeah,
it's a scenario. It's
exactly
a realistic fantasy. So with that being said, hey, I'm not the biggest Tyler Perry fan. I've never made any bones about it. I've never really gotten into a lot of their movies because I don't really like a lot of the narratives that they attempt to push or a lot of the propaganda that's underlying and a lot of the things that they do. This one kind of stood out to me. It was a little bit different. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from a plot standpoint. It deals with a very common situation, but it has a very uncommon twist to it. Because I don't want to spoil it at all. Because for people that are on the fence about seeing it, I encourage you to at least give it a try. In that uncommon twist is where the dialogue starts, because right when you have your mindset and it's like, oh well, I know this person and I know that person, well then everything kind of changes. One of the things that I appreciate about this movie is that there is no hero in this movie. There's no good guy in this movie.
Everybody,
Especially as it goes on. Everybody has their flaws. Everybody has their downfalls. And I think to me, it makes it a little bit more organic. It makes it a little bit more identifiable. When I went to go see it with my wife, she and I enjoyed it, but it literally had sparked so much emotion in the theater we're in that they literally sat there and had like a roundtable debate in the theater right after the movie ended. Like nobody left. Like everybody was just talking and giving their experiences and what they
I can only picture now
and stuff like that. But it wasn't like on that rah-rah type sense. It was just on the thing of, and again, not trying to spoil it, but there's a significant swerve to the movie that makes you reevaluate what you were going to initially think in the first place. Because just when you think you got somebody dead to rights and it's like, okay, oh, I feel sorry for this person, and oh, this motherfucker here, I can't stand it. It throws you that curveball. It's like, wait a minute. God damn it. Well, no, because see then, and no, but it's one of those kind of movies. And I appreciate stuff like that. Anything that makes somebody, and we talked about it back when it came to around Black Panther time and stuff like that, when I gave folks my Nelly formula, my EI, me EI. If it entertains, if it informs, if it educates, it inspires, if it hits at least two of those, it's a good movie.
Man, yeah, okay. I'm with
you.
If
it don't hit any of them, that's when you scream and walk out the fucking theater.
Dang, that's the first. Man, have you said that before? Man?
Yes, when we were on our Black Panther podcast, I said that it's the EI principle. Movies are meant to entertain, inform, educate, and inspire. And if it doesn't do at least two of those things, it doesn't have to do all four, but if it doesn't do at least two of those things, it's not a good movie. If it does all four, a la a Black Panther, it's an all-time classic.
Man,
it ain't rocket science.
Preach. And Griff, what you think about that Night School trailer with Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart?
Oh man, is it me or just anybody else getting tired of Kevin Hart? I'm just like, man,
I can do without him. I mean, I don't really pay attention to his stand-ups no more. I don't watch his movies. Outside of Jumanji was good, but
man, it just you know what I was thinking about this the other day. So I was thinking about like, why do we get tired? Why people get tired of Kevin Hart, but we didn't get tired of like Chris Tucker or Eddie Murphy, something like that.
Cut it out for a while.
But I'm gonna tell you why, because I noticed this. Look at the discography of their movies or whatnot. They paced their movies out to a certain extent that it wasn't oversaturation. So it was just like Eddie Murphy would drop a movie every 2 years or something like that, and Chris Tucker was like, he really gave space to a lot of his movies, like Friday he skipped like 4 years before he did that one movie with Charlie Sheen.
Money Talks.
Money Talk.
Yeah.
And then like things like that. But with Kevin Hart, it's like it's back to back to back to back. He keeps his name out there, which is a good thing because it's selling, he's making money and stuff like that, but he's oversaturating to the point where people are gonna start getting tired of his stick or whatnot.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, just like with The Rock, and I think The Rock ended up figuring that out because for a while The Rock was really back to back to back, but after a while he kind of started pacing his movies and starting kind of dissolving into the character. So it wasn't just like I was watching a movie and say, hey, that's The Rock being The Rock. Sometimes he sells me on the character that he may play, like in Jumanji, or when he was on what I'm saying, Fast and the Furious. Like for a Rock, when I first saw Fast 5, I was like, oh, there goes The Rock. But after a while, I was like, okay, I'm kind of sold on your Hobbs character now, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it looks funny to a certain extent. I didn't laugh as much. I mean, I want to see Tiffany Haddish support her, but Kevin Hart, man, he's getting on my. I'm just like, this is my person. That's me personally. I just think he's doing the most now. It's like, settle down. I understand that you're popular, but it's like his act is getting old to me.
I feel you, bro. I'm with you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing about it though is, I mean, I guess because it's one of those things where it's a colored boy that's out there doing it, but I can't say that I agree because of the simple fact that I always love Jim Carrey coming up. I love Will Ferrell now. I love Vince Vaughn. I love Zach Galifianakis. I mean, there's a lot of guys that fit into that same category that we're just describing Kevin Hart as, but they're still putting out stuff. Folks are still going to the box office to see it and support it. So, I mean, it's not like Kevin Hart is exclusive in the fact that he's quote unquote oversaturating his market. It's just, I guess, the folks pay attention to it more because it's a black comedian as opposed to somebody that's not black. I mean, every comedian, if we really want to sit down and look at it, does it. The only exceptions to those rules that I can really point out is because of the fact that for the time period that we're discussing them, a la an Eddie Murphy or a Chris Tucker, that just wasn't the formula that you did to get your brand up because people didn't put out that much content like that. Right now, what Kevin Hart is doing is the equivalent of what Lil Wayne is doing on his mixtape tour back when he was hot on his Millie stuff. Lil Wayne, you could find him on cereal commercials, dropping bars. He was on every fucking thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it was just what it was. That's why I don't really take that same kind of look with people because now they're starting to give Tiffany Haddish that kind of look. As far as, oh, we see her too much, this, that, and other. To me, there's no such thing. If you're a comedian, you make people laugh, you make people emote, and people aren't tired of your act to the point where they keep giving you paychecks for it. Get your ass out there and make people laugh.
Maybe I'm a hater. Hey, maybe I'm a hater.
It's not, no. And I'm not even looking at it as a thing of you hating or anything like that because that's a very common theme. That's a very common thought. A lot of people have that narrative now. Oh, you know, Kevin Hart everywhere. I'm tired of seeing Kevin Hart, this, that, and other. And that very well may be true with a lot of people in their heart of hearts. But A, it doesn't mean that he's any less funny. B, it doesn't mean that he's following a wrong formula because C, Kevin Hart is trying to provide for his family, for his legacy, for everything that goes on. People that really know Kevin Hart and know about his team of writers, who he's gotten the majority of them stand-up specials right now as a result of his branding and stuff like that. So it's not like he's just sitting on his own laurels and just being the greedy king Midas, hoarding all the product and stuff like that. He's actually spreading the wealth, and he's getting a lot more people on that you normally wouldn't have heard of if it wasn't for the fact that he was associated with Kevin Hart's camp, because using that game and twisting those rules and using it to your advantage when you get them big wigs and stuff like that that's up there and you're trying to pitch a little rail project and these guys are like, I've never heard of this. He's like, oh, he writes for Kevin Hart. Oh, he writes for Kevin Hart? Yeah, let's sign him up. Let's get him in there. I'm not mad at that at all. And I think that that's one of the residual effects about it because he can't have that standing to be able to promote his brand and promote his team if he's not out there being relevant and being seen.
That's true. That's
true. You have a point. You have a point. Well, I'm tired of seeing that nigga.
But don't get it twisted. With me saying all this, I can take it or leave it on this. It's a typical Kevin Hart thing. It's nothing different from what I've seen before. And yeah, I could go on a Kevin hiatus. I'm not mad at him, but that don't mean I gotta watch him all the time either.
I'm about to go on a Kevin Hart sabbatical. Get away.
Yeah, like don't get it twisted. I'm not going to see this in the theaters unless my wife just really wants me to take it to see.
Stream
like it's not going to be my preference to go see it in the theater.
Stream Zone.
Did you hear the rumor out there that I know they got they cast somebody? They're doing the Men in Black reboot, and they cast Chris Hemsworth. They cast Chris Hemsworth is I guess one of the main characters, and Kevin Hart is on the top of the list is his counterpart. Oh hard my god! I don't care. Oh man, a hard squirt. A negative.
They should never ever reboot Men in Black. Man, there's absolutely no point in it. There's absolutely no point in it.
It's good as is. It's still got value.
Sony,
it's a classic trilogy. Leave it alone.
I'm gonna tell you what happened, and The Rock is gonna find his way in that movie because Sony looking at Jumanji and saying, "Damn, Kevin Hart and The Rock killed it in this whole. How can we market this?" And Sony is dying right now, so they need a hit.
Man, they desperate. I'm with you, bro.
Because I ain't gonna watch that shit.
Nah, not at all.
Thor and Kevin Hart? Oh, hell no.
It sounds worse when you say it like that.
Thor and nah, I'm good. They can do better.
Hard pass. Kiss my ass. Get out of here. Next.
You know, then we also had the NCAA Final Four weekend. I know it didn't go too good for Kansas, man. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, man. Villanova, I have no problems whatsoever.
That's dynasty since what, Florida?
Better team. I have no problems losing to a better team. It's all good. And yes, they joined Florida, Kentucky, and Duke as the only program since the end of NCAA has expanded the 64-team format to actually win at least 2 titles in 3 years.
Hey, but on the women's bracket, Arike, back-to-back game winners against some tough competition.
Oh, and she hit some tough ones, man. I didn't watch the NCAA. I didn't watch March Madness, but I did watch the women. Man, that was some good basketball.
They had better games than the men's. Like
Skylar Diggins has a point. we do need to market the women basketball a little bit better because I'm gonna be honest with you, WNBA last year that in that final championship stretch was fucking good, really good basketball.
Maya Moore is trying to bring back WNBA, but it's just a reason that people just don't want to go for the following. But Maya Moore has brought them back. Maya Moore is probably the greatest player so far
because it's not cool. It's not cool to do. I remember me and my friends used to get heckled and ragged on because I've always been a proponent of women's basketball and stuff like that. And before they had played a single game,
people got to argue us down saying it's not a real sport. Like literally,
well, no. Even more to the point of before they even played a single game and stuff like that. I had Comets hat, Comets T-shirt, rooted hard. People's like, "Why are you wearing Comets stuff? It's a girls' team." I said, "I don't give a fuck. It's a sports team.
It's basketball.
It's basketball. What's that have to do with anything?" And you go through, and it's difficult for you to basically deprogram and reprogram a collective consciousness on certain things like women's basketball, because if you go through it and if everything you want to see, let's say, okay, well, what's the one thing you want to see with March Madness, man? I want to see some great upsets and I want to see those powerhouse matchups. You had more upsets in the women's bracket than anything that happened in the men's. And you had the powerhouses still there at the end. They literally gave you the best of both worlds. Literally gave you everything that you expect, that you want, hope, and dream for in March Madness, complete with a Final Four buzzer beater and a national championship buzzer beater.
All 1 seeds, man. All 1 seeds, buzzer beaters galore. And then you had a dominant rebound. I think she got the NCAA record by like 25 rebounds. All-time record for rebounds.
You go through and you look at it, man. It's ridiculous to see the growth and evolution of women's basketball, because a lot of people have it stuck in their mind that, oh, these girls, they're not athletic. They're just females playing a sport and stuff like that. The level of athleticism in female sports outside, well, no, including track and field events and stuff like that, has expanded so much in the last 20 to 25 years, man. It's mind blowing. It's not that big of a gap between the ability level of men and women, regardless of what you may think, because dunking a basketball isn't definite separation in basketball IQ and athletic talent as it pertains to playing the sport.
True.
Facts.
That's facts. And man, what you think about your Yankees start? Yankees are opening week. How them boys looking? I know they was born standing, but fuck it. It's the beginning.
Cheap
Did he go?
Just for the benefit of the podcast, I made sure that I checked out a couple of games, but I will tell you in my same Spurs voice, as somebody that's spoiled and somewhat of a blue blood, because I haven't seen my team have a losing season since 1992, I don't check out baseball until around my birthday, and that's in July. It's 162 games. I'll catch some here or there, or if it's like a hot matchup, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know we about to do Red Sox and Yankees, so of course I'm gonna check out a few of those because that's rivalry, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of heat check and see where folks is at, because Boston's looking like they're actually gonna be pretty strong in the East this year, as far as competition for the Yankees and stuff like that. But so far, man, I think it's pretty much par for the course. I think that it's one of those things where I kind of laugh at a lot of the folks that get a little hype and want to make mountains out of molehills because, the Yankees bats aren't working. They sluggers ain't hitting home runs, this, that, and the other. Okay. The thing that you have to understand.
More games.
New York is only talking shit.
We got a bunch of guys. It's not Yankees fans that's talking about this because we know the product that we got. We have a bunch of home run hitters. We don't have hitters. We have home run hitters. So they're not about to hit 100 home runs in a season. So there's going to be games where they're not going to have the bats clicking. You're going to have a game by Giancarlo Stanton where he's going to strike out 5 times after he home runs 2 times in a game and follows that up with a super duper giant, as the announcers in New York City said, a Stantonian home run, 458 feet to come back and shut up those Bluebirds today. I mean, it's what it is. The part that amuses me and amazes me is when you get these so well-deserved and newfangled Astros fans that for some reason want to harp on every single thing that the Yankees do.
Oh, you calling out the Astros fans for doing this?
Yes, I am, because they love saying that we are concerned about them, and we're not. Yankees fans don't talk about the Astros unless we're playing them.
Hey,
Astros fans have talked about the Yankees nonstop, all off season, everything that they've done, everything that they've said. Oh, the Yankees just trying to do this to keep up with Houston and this, that, and other. We're not worried about y'all. It's like a golf game. We're not worried about playing against the other players that are in the tournament. We're playing against the course.
well, I mean, I can understand you talking about the Astros fan and them talking a little shit or whatnot, but I heard this is a lot of just fans in general or people that's are fans of the Yankees just concerned about usually the Yankees are the team to start off hot, and I've been kind of keeping up with baseball. Thank you very much. And I just think New York fans in general is just tired. They tired of the cold weather. They tired of the Giants and trying to get rid of Odell. The Giants are tired. I mean, the Yankees are normally they start hot, and then they haven't been starting so hot this year.
What's
so
their
people
record right now?
I don't know.
What's their record right now?
Hey, I'm just talking about what the streets say.
I think 3-2, right? Or 4-2. 4-2 now.
It's just amazing.
We're at game 7 of 162, and they haven't started hot. And let me reiterate again. We're discussing a team that hasn't had a losing season since 1992.
Ooh, that's a long ass time. It's like them Spurs.
No, it's longer than the Spurs, which is my point. People don't pay attention to how different when it comes to things like baseball and stuff like that. Like, Astros are so worried about, what the Yankees are doing, and you want to talk your trash because you want to create this rivalry. I get it and stuff like that. But the metric that you need to pay attention to more is the last team to repeat in baseball were the Yankees in 2000. Nobody this century has ever repeated a championship in baseball. So you might want to focus on digging deep and protecting that legacy and not just being another one and done a la the Cubs or, the Angels or somebody like that. I mean, dig deep, play the course. Don't worry about us because we ain't worried about y'all. Trust me.
Wilson be hot. Wilson be hot when it comes to Houston sports. He be hot on us about the Texans and Deshaun Watson dropping that 40 touchdowns.
I'm not hot on y'all when it comes to that. I just do not understand why you guys, and not specific to the two people that I'm talking to on this podcast, but Houston fans in general will literally throw shade.
We know exactly what you're talking about.
They will literally throw shade at people for doing the same shit that they do. You want to throw shade at people if they're talking about your team and, the Texans are overrated or the Rockets are overrated, this, that, and the other, but you will turn around and drop hammers and want to judge everybody else's team. And one of the nastiest things that I do not understand about a lot of Houston fans is why you do third-party hating and cheerleading. If your team isn't the one beating the team that you're talking about, why are you talking about them?
Talk your shit.
What's the point? You want to sit and sell it and it's a random thing, and I get it from these guys too because I know it's been a long time coming. But when the Spurs lost to the Clippers, so now they can't win 50 games.
That narrative. That narrative is ridiculous.
I heard all of these Rockets fans coming out and they cheerleading and celebrating. Oh my God, this, that, and that. I'm like, but why?
Spurs been whooping our ass for a long time.
They just whooped our ass.
And then you get the fanboy responses because I'm like, okay, if I want to be an asshole about it, I mean, yeah, that's great. I'm glad that y'all are feeling up, taking advantage while we're down. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. My team is an organization all time. I won't even talk about this year. I won't even talk about under Popovich. I'm talking about period. My team all time does not have a losing record against any other team all time.
Hey, well, Rockets fans at all time high. Rockets fans at an all-time high. They want to talk their shit like you said.
Rockets can talk their shit. They can do whatever they want to. And it's deserved. You out there, you setting the franchise record. What they got? 60, 61 wins now?
63, man. Give us our 2. Yep, give us our 2 extra games, son.
I mean, that's great. That's awesome. The last 5 years, I've watched my team average 61 wins a season. Y'all getting all bothered about 60 wins in the season.
Man,
I mean, exactly.
Wilson know how to throw them haymakers out there.
I can't shoot the shots. I just choose not to because there's no point in it. I'm not the reason that y'all are getting losses. I'm not the reason that y'all aren't, making the cuts. So I'm not going to talk shit to Rocky fans about that.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all watch Dragon Ball Z Super?
Oh, I know.
Nope.
I just started watching Dragon Ball Z Super, and Frieza is fighting Goku, and he talking mad shit. I'm talking about he talking hella shit, and then he punched Goku, one of his strongest hits, and Goku looked at that nigga crazy like, nigga, what? That's all you got? That's how Wilson feels with them Spurs, man. We trying to throw them haymakers at them like, we got 63 wins. Take that. James Harden MVP. Nigga, we average 60-something wins. Just, this shit ain't nothing.
Buzz, well, I mean, the thing about it for me is this, though, you can't come and throw shade because you hot for a year.
Oh,
that's great. You hot for a year. We've been hot for 20. So you're gonna sit there and expect me to just sit. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to bow down and let y'all talk all the noise that you want to and stuff like that. Oh no, the rival in me, the fandom in me, will not allow that. You will always get that history left, and if you decide to get out there, oh wow, you won 63 games. That's great. We had our best player retire. Tim Duncan, heart and soul of a championship organization. How did we mourn his passing? By winning 67 fucking games the very next year.
See, look, you talking too much shit now, man. You hurt my feelings, man. You just
man, I'm just saying, if get offended or get in your feelings if I've said a lie.
Oh, I can't. You've been dropping knowledge and facts.
Oh, not at all.
But we're not,
damn.
You know what? We're not gonna talk about all that.
I'm hurt already, dog.
Because I actually want to touch on the fact that a lot of people make a big to do about the status and all these teams. You got the Coach Calipari's and the Coach K's. It's got all these 5-star recruits and McDonald's All-Americans and stuff like that. For the first time since 1979, there was only one McDonald's All-American that played in the national championship game. And that was Jalen Brunson for Villanova. There were no other McDonald's All-Americans in there. Jay Wright and what he's done at that program in the suburbs of Philadelphia is fucking phenomenal. Because you have a starting 6 out there that is like they're literally like a cheat code for the college level. Yeah. They can beat you any kind of way you want. If you want to run, if you want to slow it down, if you want to play that half court game and get beat up with the bigs, if you want to get out there and play that space and pace ball, they can do that too. They have certified NBA players on their team. They
had Josh Hart. Oh my God,
bruh. The name that y'all gotta watch out for, man, is that kid Bridges.
He didn't show up last year in that Wisconsin game, so he redeemed himself this year.
He didn't show up last year, but I've heard it, and then I had to see it for myself, and I can kind of get where the narrative is going. They call him the next Kawhi Leonard for a reason. He has that kind of talent. That kid it's going to be interesting to see where he goes.
Hey, man.
He started off the season as a fringe first-round pick, maybe at the bottom of the first round. They actually had a mock draft that had him going to the Spurs. Now he won't make it out of the top 10.
Hey man, it's the year. It's the year of Philly. It's the year of Philly. The Eagles, the Sixers is hot. Villanova won. Eve is on The View. Halle Bell Pies is popping. Kevin Hart is in every fucking movie. Philly is on.
Well, I mean,
besides Meek Mill,
Philadelphia is the first city to actually have a Super Bowl champion and NCAA basketball champion in the same year.
Oh, shoot! Hey man, that's a good thing. Meek Mill is the only person from Philly that ain't winning. The only one. Only win.
Meek said his win is coming. Don't judge him. Meek said he's coming.
Free Meek.
Free Meek.
Hey man, how y'all feel about this Brandon Cooks trade? I don't think it's gonna be much of an impact. I don't get what the hoopla is about, man.
Oh, here you go. I don't know. I don't know what the hoopla is.
Rams remind me so much of the Adam Archuleta free agent spending Redskins back in the day. That whole that old adage that you cannot buy chemistry, we're about to get another example of, because they're gonna either get it together or they're gonna fall completely off.
It's gonna be one or the other.
They've given up 4 of the first 5 rounds of draft picks in this draft to get all these players and all these acquisitions that they're doing, and they look good on paper. It's a lot of strong names out there. It's a lot of potential.
You got to resign
like that, but it has to fit.
What is Cook's contract look like?
Look, they already said that they're going to extend him.
Shoot.
They already said that they're going to extend him before the season.
Yeah, he's only 24, and he's only looking for like $8 to $9 million. So that's not a lot for.
But that's the reason why he low key got traded from New England, because New England ain't really in the.
They ain't trying to fork up that money.
When he was like, "I'm trying to get this guap," they was like, "Well, never mind. We was just playing. Thanks for your services."
Because that's pretty good. Because he can give you what? He'll give you 1,000. Give you 6 or 7 touchdowns, and you get him for $9 million. Hey, that's pretty good. And then you still got.
They're gonna pay more than that.
I still think
they're gonna pay
I still think Cooper Kupp gonna be the main guy in the middle.
Yeah, he's gonna still be the Cooper Kupp is still gonna be the go-to.
He's gonna be their possession guy, and he might approach 10 touchdowns. He'll probably have about 90 to 95 receptions. Might break 1,100 yards.
I think with
he could have 10.
It's gonna be hard for Cooks, Woods, and on top of that, Tavon Austin to come in there and try to get.
Tavon Austin is gone. Hey, he's gone after those. They've been trading him.
He just restructured his contract.
They got rid of Tavon.
When?
They got rid of Tavon Austin like a few weeks ago. They only got Wood.
Even if they didn't, he's still gonna be the odd man out when it comes to that rotation.
So he's making a lot less than what he was making at first, but he's still on the roster.
We gotta take a look at that. I heard he was gone because I heard all it was is Woods.
He was going to be gone if they paid Watkins, but they let Watkins go. They restructured his contract so he'll be a little bit cheaper.
Austin ain't about to get no touches then. That's all I gotta say. Because that little jet sweep that they do. That little jet sweep they do with Woods is supposed to go to start going to Cooks. And then just think about that. Last year, Cooper Kupp was like number 3 in red zone targets last year. And just remember the drops that he had in the red zone.
Cooper, so if he's only gonna get better in that system. Like that system is custom made for somebody like Cooper Kupp. He can easily be the Julian Edelman over there. Easy.
It's going to be interesting what's going to happen because that roster from defense to offense is pretty damn loaded, and it's going to be interesting to see what McVay going to do. Man, Todd Gurley about to eat. Now he may not have as many catches.
About to have a lapse in yards. His numbers are actually going to.
Yeah, they're about to go down. He's not about to have that many receptions compared to what he had.
Because now it's about to be about the Golden Boy. It's about to be the golf show, not the Gurley show.
Oh, hey, pass and sell tickets.
Yeah. Although in a historically tradition-rich city like LA, as far as football goes, you make more money off your rushers.
Oh, you always
going back to Bo Jackson, going back to Eric Dickerson. Just historically, they've always had a lot more marketability with their.
I'm with you, but they got to put some butts in those seats.
So I feel you.
Oh, the butt's gonna be there now. Shit, with the team they got personality there. That people are gonna show up and try to see what this team gonna do.
Ooh, I'm trying to see which one gonna have the first late night. Talib or Peters. They gonna be they gonna
be out there clowning. Snatching chains.
Clowning.
Give me that shit. But I was thinking about that. Do you think their offense is gonna go down, take a dip because their defense is gonna be so good and they won't have to rely on to outscore everybody?
I'm a big component of the slot guy. Like I feel like if your slot guy can get comfortable in the offense, then you can do wonders. I mean, remember Brandon Stokely when he was at his peak and the Colts offense was easily
really
getting 40 touchdowns, So once your slot guy gets comfortable, especially in the offense, he knows where to go, he knows his motion, he knows the plays, your offense is going to blow up. And the offense was great last year. So I think it's only going to be even better this year, especially when you put that speed out there to stretch out the field. He's gonna be all alone. Cooper Kupp is gonna be eating. That's why I'm a bigger fan of this trade for Cooper Kupp than I am Brandon Cooks.
Because it's gonna open it up for him.
It's gonna open it up. He's gonna have one-on-ones all day with people trying to catch up to Tavon Austin and Brandon Cooks on the outside. Then you still got Robert Woods. They got a young tight end too.
Higbee.
Higbee. So
Tyler Higbee.
Weapons, man. They got, and then the draft's still coming up. So
they ain't got no picks in the first couple rounds.
They still got 5 rounds.
Yeah, they still got 6 or 7 rounds. I mean, you can always get a couple bodies back there on the offensive line or running.
We already built up the offensive line. They grabbed a lot of pieces to shore up that offensive line.
But what I'm saying, they can use those late picks for projects on the offensive side versus trying to get defensive.
They almost forced to do stuff like that because you sacrifice 4 of your first 5 rounds worth of picks. Everything that you're going to pick is going to be a project at that point.
Yep.
All right, Rams the Super Bowl and bust this year.
That's gonna be tough.
Well, the Rams are bust this year.
They about to get that. They about to have that pressure. They about to put that pressure on them.
I'm not on his side, but my money is still on Aaron this year. I pissed off Aaron with Jimmy Graham.
That's my tight end draft. Come here, Graham.
That's scary. And they got a top 15 pick. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers coming with a vengeance.
Anything at this spot, but
goddamn.
They have
Panthers.
They have some surprises in store, and I will warn y'all in advance. Let us not forget that even though they've gone back into old school mode and they've gotten quiet after getting their 2 acquisitions with Mo Wilkerson and Jimmy Graham, let us not forget that the Green Bay Packers have 12 draft picks in this draft, and some of those will get packaged to move up in key areas to get key positions addressed on the defense. Look for them now that they've signed Tramon Williams. Devon House is supposed to visit this week. They may have a chance to re-sign him for depth, but I fully expect the Packers to go literally DB, edge rusher, DB in their first 3 picks.
Oh, well, there you go.
Couple weeks
Deshaun
away.
Watson, 40 touchdowns.
3 weeks away from the
touchdowns.
draft. 3 weeks, right?
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Hey man, Deshaun Watson is out here at the Rockets game throwing Hail Mary balls to the nosebleed section. Let's go, 40 touchdowns.
Missing those free throws too. You got
Oh yeah, that was kind of shaky. He said he ain't ready for them short passes.
Deshaun is going to break 40 touchdowns is if no running back scores more than 3 touchdowns.
I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. Let's go, 40 plus touchdowns. Let's go. Man. We got it, man. We already got that bet going. It's cool. I got to talk my shit. Let me talk my shit. 45
candy is going to taste so good. I might eat 45 pieces of candy in your honor.
Damn, nigga gonna be passed the fuck out. Wilson, you all right?
Let me get my water and my glucometer together before I do.
Hey, Groove, we probably need to go get some Easter candy since it's half off.
Yeah, man, I already got some. I bought some the other day. I got some Peeps.
Not about to give me no goddamn Easter candy.
I'm about to give you a chocolate bunny.
It's gonna be stale and turn
They
white.
giving me the hazmat candies. Yeah, they give me the hazmat candies.
I'm giving you a bag of jelly beans, Starburst jelly beans.
Hey,
homie, I need my shit fresh.
Fresh, man. Let me check the date. Let me check the date on this candy.
You know what I'm saying? What's his expiration date? Oh, you motherfuckers trying to kill me. Okay.
This hoe said expired in May of 2018.
And we got 10 more days until the playoffs start, man. 10 more days.
Man, it's I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared for one team. There's one team I'm starting to get scared of because one team coming in the form.
Now he's scared of one team.
It's Denver. I'm scared of Denver, man. I'm thinking that they gonna fuck around and get in that 8 and 7 seed, and it's about to. They get hot right now. Jokic is playing some of the best. But Will Barton too. He slid into the starting lineup, and he's starting to really change things for their offense. Kind of something they could have done before.
They still got 3 very good guards. Like it don't matter.
And Harris,
guard play, Harris and Murray too. So
so it's gonna be interesting.
Very good guard play.
The first round of the playoffs is going to be really interesting, and I hope it's no sweeps or nothing like that. I hope it's really competitive basketball.
I don't see a lot of sweeps. If any at all.
The Rockets better sweep.
We're not gonna sweep, man. They're
gonna drop a game, bro.
We're gonna drop one game if that, because if we play like Timberwolves or maybe Denver,
they're gonna shoot bad. It's inevitable.
I will equate the number of key players injured for the Rockets to the number of games they lose in the first round. So if they lose 1, they're gonna lose a player. If they lose 2, they're gonna lose 2 players. I'm telling you, they better sweep.
Okay. Well, I did predict that we were only going to lose 2 games in the first 2 rounds. So, hey, I'm down for a sweep.
Hey, man, you think the Pelicans... I think the Pelicans are going to get knocked out. That's who I had said before. They on a 4-game losing streak, so that's not helping. So
they are on that cusp of falling out. They do have a tough schedule. They do have to pay. I think the Pelicans...
Clippers had a huge win, too.
The Pelicans, I want to say, play Denver coming up, or Timberwolves?
With the Pelicans, it's going to come down to their last game of the season.
Who they playing?
San Antonio.
But then again, they
out.
They out.
Literally, the way that it's shaping up, that might actually be the play-in game for the Western Conference playoffs. It might be a situation where whichever team wins is in, whichever team loses is out.
Do you remember that? What was that? Do you remember that? What was that? 3 years ago, where New Orleans had to play the Spurs to get into the playoffs, and that's when Anthony Davis went off.
2 spot to the 6th spot.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But it's going to be interesting because the Timberwolves have to play the Nuggets tomorrow. So that's going to be a very interesting game.
So I think Nuggets going to have to win at least 3 out of 4.
Man, I feel sorry for the Timberwolves because they got a tough schedule too. But with the hope of Jimmy Butler coming back,
all of those teams on the bottom end of that Western Conference playoff bracket.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be super tight.
It's going to be a dogfight coming down to that last day.
That is true, man. I see you, Rockets. Let's get this train started. Choo choo.
So y'all want to just hold off on the NBA? Y'all got something to say about it? Or
I ain't got nothing to say, but
at this point, I'm ready to hit that fast forward. Let's simulate these last 4.
I think LeBron James is talking crazy out here, talking about he deserves MVP. He needs to be quiet.
LeBron James,
he's not lying.
LeBron James, much
said what?
like Greg
He's not
Popovich when it
lying.
comes
I
to
mean,
coaching, he's not lying.
Yeah,
Greg Popovich and LeBron James can be up for Coach of the Year and MVP literally every season.
LeBron cannot get MVP for the sole fact that look at your team record. Your team record.
We're not saying that he can. We're saying that he can be considered for it. It's not a stretch.
If Russell didn't get MVP last year, LeBron should be MVP this year. If James got his last year, LeBron would have got it this year.
Nah, he wouldn't have got that because they would have said that James Harden had. He should have got it last year.
This is a sympathy MVP. James is getting this off.
This ain't no sympathy. This ain't no sympathy MVP. No, it's not. What? DeMarcus, the foolishness of you to sit there and say this is a sympathy MVP is the reason why James Harden. Are you telling me that James Harden hasn't been the most consistent NBA player this season?
Let me ask this question. And the MVP has nothing to do with consistency. Let's be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an overriding factor in what makes somebody the MVP because the V stands for value, not consistency.
Okay,
it stands for value. But let me ask this before we get here because it gives me an excuse to actually let you guys throw your own shade. Let's say the situations are reversed and James Harden only played 9 games this season, a la Kawhi Leonard. What would the Rockets record be right now?
If what he played those 9 games,
they only played 9 games and didn't play the whole season.
They went 2-7. They went like 2-7. That they lost a lot of games down the stretch.
No. You're not answering the question that I'm asking. Let's say that James Harden this year was hurt like Kawhi Leonard and only played 9 games. How many wins would the Rockets have right now?
Ain't no telling.
That's a 50.
They would have got. They would
win. With Chris Paul and Eric Gordon, that's a 50-win.
But the way Chris Paul been in and out the lineup, and he's already missed like what a quarter of the season. I would say the Rockets are not going to be 50. They're not going to win 50 games. I'm sorry, they're not about to win 50 games with Chris Paul because Chris Paul been hurt. Because guess what? You would have to because think about this. Since you want to take James Harden out the equation, and you want to say that if you take him out the equation, he missed the games that Kawhi Leonard did. Think about this. That's more pressure put on Chris Paul to deliver deliver day in and day night. That means no more rest, meaning that the 25 games that you missed already, you probably gonna miss more games on that because you're gonna have more injury in your body because you've been playing more minutes and stuff like that. So we can't make that scenario. And my whole thing's like this, James. As great as LeBron James has been playing over of late, guess what? That's the same argument that was made for Westbrook. And I don't want to hear the BS because it's not about what you've been doing of late. It's about what you're doing for totality of the season and what your team win is at. And you can't sit up there and tell me that, guess what? The Sixers, who's on the process rebuilding mode, is a half a game behind the Cavs. And you sit up there and say that LeBron James deserves MVP? That's laughable. That is laughable. They come up with the most ridiculous shit just not to give James Harden MVP. Last year with the triple doubles with Westbrook, guess what? Westbrook is literally in the same spot, the 6th place, and averaging damn near almost a triple double like he did last year. But no one's talking about that shit. Because what? The whole little storyline is not there with Kevin Durant left and let's see what Westbrook is doing this year. Well, it's always some type of scenario. Okay, let's fast forward back when Curry won that shit. He beat James Harden because what? Where his team was at. James Harden was still putting up some stupid ass numbers, but guess what? Curry was putting up identical numbers, less than what James Harden is putting up right now. But his team had what? That number 1 seed. Same thing. James Harden did, same thing. So James Harden, unanimous MVP, book it, bag it.
So it's a hollow trophy.
Huh? It's not no hollow trophy. It's not just James Harden, we're giving you this. We're not about to give James Harden literally had to give us some of his responsibility and give it to.
Not listening to me because you blinded by all this goddamn James Harden hate that you got in your heart. Nobody's hating on Harden. This ain't about Harden.
This ain't about this. It's not you.
Title of the MVP.
I wasn't talking about you.
This is about the title of the MVP trophy. What I'm saying is this: if you go through and you tell me that without James Harden, the Rockets are a 50-win team, then how could he be the MVP? Because that takes away from his value.
I didn't say that. Who said that? DeMarcus said that. I don't think they're winning no 50 games without James Harden. I'm going to tell you that right now.
A Chris Paul-led team with Eric Gordon can win 50.
Nah, we're not making no 50 games because then again, like I just said, Chris Paul already missed, 20-something games? So he's going to miss more games.
And Damian Lillard can win 50 games. Chris
Paul
off the gas.
Chris Paul, how old is Chris Paul compared to those other two?
At the end of the day.
Like at the end of the day, you can have who's been the best player. Yes, we know LeBron James is the best player, but guess what? He's not having the MVP type of season right now because his team is in the 3rd place.
Why is not? I mean, have you seen
this team is in the 3rd place? When the last time you seen an MVP besides Westbrook that was in a 3rd seed that got the MVP trophy? I'll wait.
It's the new trend now. It's a new trend.
The only new trend, the only reason why Westbrook got the MVP last year is because he had a fucking triple-double fucking record. That's the only reason why he got that shit. Miss me with that shit. Miss me with that shit. You can totally miss me with the bullshit. That's the only reason why.
Is basically saying who's the statistically best player on with the best record in basketball, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So it's a hollow trophy, like I just said.
It's not just a hollow trophy because guess what? It also looks at what's your team, what status.
Point. What I'm saying is this: if you're being honest about what the definition of most valuable player is, honestly, because it lacks prestige and you can't market it well enough, every fucking MVP would be some dude that's a one-man band on a middle-of-the-pack team because those are the ones that have the most value to their goddamn team. Because without them,
they pat their
would
stats.
completely fall apart. No, it's not about pad statting. It's about the fact that without that said player, their team is literally going to fall apart and be nothing.
3 years ago, did James Harden get that award when the Rockets were damn near mud in the water with Dwight Howard missing half the fucking season? Did he get that award?
Like you just said, it's a hollow trophy, and your criteria isn't the criteria that I just.
But I don't think it's a hollow trophy. I don't think it's a hollow trophy. I think it's awarding the person because it's awarding the person who's having the best season and carrying their team. So we gonna have
the definition of the word. It doesn't imply value. So why give somebody a trophy for being the most valuable?
If you think that James Harden off the Rockets this year is gonna have 50+ wins, I laugh. So that's cool.
Well, that's rocket on rocket talk. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, hey, I've been seeing Chris Paul play enough, and I know what Eric Gordon can do when he's in the starting line.
Like I said, health. We don't look at Chris Paul miss how many games? How many games Chris Paul like?
Scenario, Griff, chill, calm down. This is a scenario.
So much
if James,
I'm not mad. It's just I don't need these false narratives of you to hype people up to think if you win 50, you think we winning 50 games with Chris Paul? Hell the fuck no. How many games Chris Paul missed this year? You don't think he would have missed more? How many games Ryan Anderson missed? Abatamute, Nene, Capella. You want to keep going down the line? 50 wins? Hell no. How many games?
That's
how many times? How many games?
Said if Harden missed the same amount of games.
So basically, y'all are a one-man band team.
You take Harden off the Rockets, guess what? We are in the bottom fighting for maybe 8th, 9th place. If that.
Shit, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good in the West.
So that would be statistically close to a 50-win team then, right, DeMarcus?
No, they'll be close to 45. Hey, they'll be in that competition. They may be fighting. I said they may be fighting. That's giving them the benefit of the doubt. But me saying that, I'm saying a may. It's a big ass may at that.
I mean, if we're talking about a 5-win difference, I mean that.
Bad about James Harden anymore. We can't do that.
Hey man, when it all boils down, don't make an argument for LeBron James because I'm like everybody wants to come up with some argument.
Nobody made an argument. You just took the statement that was made and ran with it. What we said was based off of his career and the level of play, LeBron James, just like Greg Popovich in coaching, can be eligible for MVP or Coach of the Year every year of their career.
Let me ask you a question.
You do know.
So LeBron not stat padding. So LeBron's not averaging what 40 minutes.
Westbrook stat padded last year.
And guess what? They gave him the MVP he didn't deserve. They created a fake ass narrative so he can get the MVP.
Hollow trophy, man.
That's not no hollow trophy. That's a hollow trophy that Westbrook got that when James Harden should have got that. Who actually created value to his team? I don't see what's funny. I don't see how you call that a hollow trophy. So with LeBron James, so he's not averaging what 40 minutes. So
for anybody that's ever won it for
let me ask you a question.
The fact that they were valuable to their team. Being on the best team in the league is not a valid reason to get MVP. Having the best record in the league and being the star player on said team is not a validation of being an MVP.
So
that does not have anything to do with somebody's value.
I guess being what? Leading the league in scoring, 3rd in assists, number 4 in steals. I guess that's not MVP worthy. Okay.
Well, I guess that's not MVP. If your team can still win 50 games without you, what is your value to
that? No, they cannot. Like you in these what if scenarios, that's not even a given take that they can win 50 games. That's what you think they're gonna do, but I'm saying they would not do that at all.
Take LeBron off the Cavs. How many games would they win?
Oh, they gonna be in the lottery, and so what? And what is the point you're trying to make?
That implies more value. That's the point.
Oh, so that's wonderful that LeBron James can stat his pats, but pad his stats. But think about this. I'm pretty sure you take LeBron James off that team and replace him with, I guess, some competent other small forward. I'm pretty sure the Cavs will still be in the playoff hunt. They do not have a trash squad. If you sit up there,
if Bum J. Cole went to the Cavs for LeBron,
they would still have a. They would be. Yes, they would. They would be in the playoffs. If that's what you want to tell me, that Bum J. Cole on the Cavs, they wouldn't be in the playoffs. They would be in the playoffs. They would be.
They don't have a trash squad. I done seen posts and heard talk about how trash the Cavs been all season long. But now, if they switched out LBJ, they wouldn't be trash no more.
They would be terrible on defense, but they wouldn't. They still would make the playoffs. I still think they would get in over Milwaukee. You see how the Heat is struggling.
Man,
hey,
so much angst.
Hey man, I'm just keeping it real.
Well, I hope that they finally make all of you myopic Houston fans happy and give Harden his little trophy so y'all can quit crying about
sympathy
it.
But it ain't no sympathy trophy, and that's laughable. That's really embarrassing that you as a Houston fan sitting there saying that James Harden getting the MVP is a sympathy trophy.
Yeah.
Huh?
He should have been had it. He been earned.
Oh, okay. Then if you say that, then I'll agree with that. Then
yeah,
he should have been at it.
Now, what I'm saying is this year they kind of just handed to him like, we did you wrong in the past, so here's that trophy you needed.
I can see that, but I just like the man's stats also do speak a lot of volume. I just think that it ain't just so much as James, because it's parts of James Harden game that I don't like. What I just don't appreciate is how that everybody comes up with these scenarios and these storylines just to devalue James Harden. Like when they want to talk about OKC and what they did, Westbrook hasn't done that in the playoffs. He's failed in the playoffs, but nobody wants to talk about that. They want to talk about what James Harden coming up short. Then they want to give love to all these other teams that haven't. Look at this, Paul George. He's failed in the playoffs, but now everybody has confidence in Paul George, and it's just like James Harden don't get that benefit of the doubt.
And I'm with you, but also
nobody calls James Harden a top 5 player on earth. No, nobody does that. Nobody puts him in that upper elite.
They are now, but at first they weren't giving James Harden no love like that, man. The knocking up.
You get the heat that comes with that, though. When you get that crowning, when you get put in that tier. You get the heat that comes with that. So it's not like it's something out of the ordinary.
But I'm saying it's unfair. It's unfair. Westbrook don't get that.
But Westbrook ain't in that tier.
Yeah.
That's what you say, but everybody else says differently. They'll sit up there and tell you that Westbrook is probably the third best player.
Stat lovers would say that. But people that actually pay attention to the game.
People that pay attention to basketball, they don't say that. They don't put that logic in there like that.
And when it comes to me, like, my frustrations with James Harden. We have seen 3 MVP-like seasons. How many MVP-like postseasons have we seen from James Harden?
Man, we've seen probably like a couple. That's like sporadically a game.
James Harden whatsoever.
You said what?
I said I have no issues with James Harden whatsoever.
I'm ready for the playoffs. You know what mode I'm in. You know what mode.
Oh yeah, it's playoff. It's finals bust for the Rockets, man.
I'm playoff ready, bro. If he crumble this time, he's gonna have his MVP award. Then what?
Wilson, I want to ask you a question. So with the Spurs and the whole LaMarcus Aldridge situation, I mean not LaMarcus Aldridge. Oh my god,
GOAT.
Kawhi Leonard situation. Which team would you like to see the Spurs if they say that Kawhi does not want to? I know we long on this topic of basketball. I just want to ask you, what team would you like to see Kawhi go to, and you get some of their players or whatnot?
Trade him to the Lakers. They put an article out on Bleacher Report that I posted on our actual fan page today about potential trade packages and landing spots for Kawhi Leonard.
I saw that.
Send him out west to his people, out to the Lakers, and the package that we would get in return, Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and a first-round pick, I'll take that shit every day of the week.
Ingram.
The only reason why I asked that because I saw there was another. What was it with the Bucks? I think it was a trade package with the Bucks that looked pretty nice.
They had one with Phoenix that looked good. They had
Josh Jackson came to the Spurs. I know
they had one with the Phoenix package. The Phoenix package actually involved Bender, a first-round pick, Josh Jackson, and somebody else. It was actually pretty good. They actually had some pretty good.
I don't really need Tyler like that.
They have some.
They got some good packages out there. I just wanted to know I just want to see who you thought was what team would be the most enticing and whatnot. Me personally, I think that Kawhi and them gonna get together, but we'll see.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I just did that because of my love for Kawhi Leonard. Like, I figured that would be best of both worlds. Send him back to Cali where he's from, and the Lakers are not, the cupboard ain't bare as far as talent goes. And again, if I could get a package that involves their first round pick, Kuzma at the 4, Brandon Ingram at the 2/3, and I still get to keep my first round pick. I'll take that every day of the week.
That's a steal right there, bro.
Ooh, Julius Randle would be nice with Pop.
Man, what Julius Randle can ball, and boys,
that dude good.
Julius with Pop would be good, but Julius would stunt his growth if he went to Pop right now because ain't nobody budging LaMarcus after the season that he's had. This year.
Yeah, you're right.
LaMarcus has shut everybody up. I have to be the first person to admit. LaMarcus went above and beyond my expectations this year. He has had a renaissance season.
He got the fadeaway back. That's all.
Hey man, he put them big boy pants on.
You talk about poor man's MVP. Like when it comes to straight value, that team is lost without
LaMarcus Aldridge. That is a
I was
true
telling
fact.
some folks honestly, and a lot of people don't like it when I say this. If the situations were reversed and Kawhi Leonard was healthy all year and LaMarcus Aldridge only played 9 games, I don't think they would have 45 wins right now.
That is interesting because he has been clutch with them rebounds and those.
He has been clutch. He has been an actual two-way player. That was the one thing that he didn't have in Portland. He has his shooting touch back. He's getting that familiarity in that mid-range game, but he's getting back and he's playing some clutch defense. His block numbers are impressive as hell for LaMarcus Aldridge because it's not a part of the game that you.
As far as shooting form in general, not just shooting form, LaMarcus Aldridge has one of the sweetest shooting forms in all the NBA.
Yeah, he got that guard for him. He got that guard for him for real.
He keep it tight. He keep it tight and in. Like that dude can
elbow in, 45-degree angle.
That's why I say once
you
start getting confidence in that fadeaway, you can't stop it. You can't stop because it's too quick. It's too quick. You ain't gonna have the jumping ability to contest it. And he's too tall. It's very Dirk-like with his fadeaway. So
yes,
no doubt. Oh yeah, shout out to Dirk, greatest white man that Griffin knows.
I was about to say, hey
man,
big
fella,
the Germinator.
Man, but anything else y'all got for the people before we wrap things up?
Whoo, you already know, man. Into the Badlands is on Netflix. Watch that. Rapture. We didn't get to touch on that, but I did want to speak on Rapture. It's a pretty decent show for so far.
We're gonna save that for next week.
Yeah, we can say that for next week so I can finish up.
Yeah, that's gonna be a longer conversation.
Okay.
Because I got some beef with Logic, man. That first episode kind of rubbed me wrong, so I'm gonna talk about that. What else to watch? Grownish is over. Westworld is back. Check that out. What else is out? Blackish is still killing it. Junior about to go off to college.
Look at Blackish. Look at Grownish.
Star is killing it. Ooh, Star came back hot.
Nice.
Yeah, Star and Empire are doing well so far, so good. Black Lightning as always. Friday, David Letterman's my next guest. Needs no introduction. Episode premieres with Mr. Sean Carter himself, Jay-Z, on Netflix. Next Friday, Friday the 13th, Lost in Space, which I'm looking forward to. Is coming out on Netflix as well. For my Hulu people, if you don't get a chance to watch them when they're actually on TV like myself, but you like to play catch up, 2 series that I'm really into now, really good storylines. One, Designated Survivor by Mr. 24 himself, Kiefer Sutherland. Going through the scenario is that everybody in the chain of command for the U.S. presidency gets killed all the way down to Kiefer Sutherland, who's like, what, the Secretary of State or something lower than that at that point.
Assistant, yeah.
Yeah, but he's
I seen that one episode and I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with the scandal.
He's like the designated survivor. It's actually pretty good. And then another one along that same vein of like a How to Get Away with Murder scandal type vibe is a new series For the People, talking about a bunch of young cats that get split up into 2 groups. Half are federal prosecutors and the other half are federal, I guess what you want to call pro bono attorneys, and they battle each other on certain cases that not are just at the regular court level, but since it's a federal court, you deal with federal crime. So you have these public defense attorneys at the federal level defending people being accused for terrorism and stuff like that. It's a really interesting dynamic. It has a lot of really interesting subplots to it for those folks that want to give something new a try, and it's actually something that comes on weekly. A movie on Netflix, First Match. It's a story about a young lady. She's coming up, foster care system, stuff like that. Mom's passed away. Dad's in jail. Dad gets out of jail or whatever. but Dad was always a big wrestler. She follows in his footsteps and goes into not only wrestling, but a little bit of underground fighting, stuff like that. Pretty good story. It's a nice indie film. The father in the movie, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, is a guy that folks will recognize if you watch The Get Down. He was Cadillac in that series, and he is going to be Black Manta in the upcoming Aquaman movie. So give that one a look. Yeah. And for all of my people, to commemorate this day of the 50th anniversary of the assassination of the good Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I encourage you all on HBO. There's a documentary called King in the Wilderness. If you really want to get past a lot of the sugarcoating and a lot of the agenda pushing, narrative pushing perceptions that America likes to give you of Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy, this documentary specifically talks about his last days and how much he was hated and how people turned their backs on him as he basically went throughout the latter part of his last years pretty much on his own and almost penniless, because everybody walked away from him. I won't give away the story for a lot of people that don't know the circumstances behind that, but for all of the beauty and, oh, we celebrate his birthday and he was such a great man, father of the civil rights movement, yada, 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 much in the same way that they did Muhammad Ali. They love him now. They didn't love him then. And it shows you why. It shows you in great detail.
Oh, and then what you call it? Cardi B dropping her CD on Friday.
That is true. I forgot about that.
Cardi in the party. Yeah, that's my song. Hey, that's my song. I ain't gonna lie, man. That song be jamming.
And also shout out to Milby's own U of H Coug. Alden Ford gone too soon, my brother. Lost that battle, but it's all good.
Cancer sucks. Cancer sucks, man. I had the pleasure of meeting that kid when he was coming out of high school, going to U of H. Always a good dude, man. Always had a good heart, good personality, man. He was never on that rah-rah stuff. Always a hard worker, man. I enjoy watching him play. That one hit me hard. It's you never want to see somebody go that young.
Yeah.
And also RIP to the Queen, Winnie Mandela, who is one of the greatest examples that I ever knew of what a Black woman's strength really entails on so many levels. But respect, props, and much love and condolences to her and her family as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as always, y'all can catch us on SoundCloud, iTunes. Hit us up on the Facebook page for the culture.
Get melanated and illuminated.
Melanatedilluminated.com/Fish and Grits. What you got, Grits?
Oh, Fish and Grits. What is it? Fish and Grits 281. That's where you find us on all platforms.
Fish and Grits 281. There it is. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Y'all enjoy.
Peace.